Arsenal have reportedly launched a bid to sign the Spanish striker at Getafe, Mayoral. We're delving into this story, plus a big done deal involving Tottenham and Manchester United's pursuit of a brand new midfielder. Smash the like button, subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Arsenal's need for a striker has been well documented, debated, discussed, and thoroughly done to death when it comes to fan discourse, the media, pundits, and much, much more. The idea of Ivan Toney is a prospect that seems to be ever dwindling. The player himself distancing himself from moves, speaking of a need to pay back the loyalty demonstrated to him by Frank and by everybody at Brentford, with injuries to their forward line, players away at AFCON, and of course the team staring down the barrel of a relegation fight. That deal seems off. The prospect of Victor Osimhen is going to be a summer deal. Whoever wants him, it's going to be in the summer. And Arsenal need reinforcements now. A story has emerged that Arsenal have launched a bid for the Spanish forward who's currently playing for Getafe, having a decent season, 12 goals in La Liga, 2 in the Copa del Rey, 14 goals in 22 appearances so far this season, of Borja Mayoral. They have set their sights on him and look to seal an affordable deal for the new striker this month, according to reports. This one here from the Evening Standard. It goes on to say the Gunners are in desperate need of additional firepower to re-energize their faltering Premier League title bid, especially with Gabriel Jesus now sidelined through injury, but are limited with what they can do in January due to FFP constraints. And there are talks that Arsenal have launched a bid, and I want to make sure I read this right, of £22 million for this Spanish striker. Now, I expect a lot of the very high-profile Arsenal media to play this down because the bid has been reported as rejected at this moment in time. Now, the former Spanish under-21 star is currently joint top goal scorer in La Liga, behind that of Jude Bellingham. Getafe don't want to lose him at this point. So as of now, they're saying no to a £22 million bid. That appears to be the region of spending that Arsenal are prepared to go for. I think if they look to increase their bid, once maybe it becomes, maybe if the player himself says, actually, I fancy a trip to Arsenal, maybe he feels as though this season is a little bit of a flash in the pan, or maybe his stock won't be as high next year at the age of 26. I think he's 26 years of age. Now may be the right time for him to move on to, he's 26, turning 27 in April, move on to somewhere new. But Arsenal fans, I want to gauge your view on this deal. Firstly, is the player good enough for Arsenal? Is he of the pedigree to move the needle to help you in this title bid? I want to get your opinions on that. Secondly, can you see this deal coming to fruition? We know that he was an ex-Real Madrid player. He played a fair amount of games in a season where they won Champions League, etc. He's got a few trophies to his name. Everybody knows this. You know, conference winner, as an example, Champions League winner. So there's some winning pedigree there. But he's never been a star. He's not a name that's been on the edge of anybody's lips talking about him. Arsenal fans, what do you think regarding this deal? Let me know in the comments section below. Now, Fabrizio Romano update. I don't think any of us imagined we would see at any point in our lifetime. And that is Bayern Munich set to sign Eric Dier from Spurs on a permanent deal. Dier is already in Munich to complete his medical tests. He has said that it's an amazing club. And it says here, Tuchel will have his new centre-back. Now, look, we know that he's probably not going to be the number one choice. But what an upgrade. What a level up this is for Eric Dier. Imagine, this is not a dig at Tottenham. So Tottenham fans, don't take this personally. It's not about you. It's about Dier. This is a man who isn't good enough for Tottenham. He isn't good enough for the Premier League at the highest level. He's so despised by Tottenham fans that recently he was filmed returning to the stadium or the training ground of Tottenham, and the social media team at Spurs were filming him. And I'm going to paraphrase what he said here, but words to the effect of, "Why are you filming me? No one's going to watch it if I'm on here, because basically nobody cares about me at this club." To go from that, having fullbacks playing centre-back over you at Tottenham, to signing for one of the biggest teams in the world, a club that Tottenham will never be as big as. I believe in my lifetime, and I believe for the next 100 years, Bayern Munich will always be seen as a bigger, more successful, and more prestigious football club than Tottenham. The fact that they are signing him on a permanent deal, what a transfer this is for Eric Dier as an individual, as a man, as a human being. Fair play. Fair play. If you'd have said 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago maybe, Eric Dier, what'd you think of him? Awful. Bayern Munich are going to sign him. You would have been put in a straitjacket and placed in a padded cell. People would have called you crazy, stupid, delusional, a conspiracy theorist. Do you believe that lizards run the world? Is Earth really flat? You'd have been called out for it. And to a degree, people would have probably been justified in that. What an absolute weird but sensational piece of business for Eric Dier. It really, really is. I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on that in the comment section below, my people. Now, moving up to Manchester is an interesting story here that Man United have been told the price for Morten. I want to believe his name is pronounced Hjulmand. It says Man United are chasing a deal for the Sporting Lisbon midfielder Morten Hjulmand, according to the latest reports. The Sun, along with other outlets, claim that United have seen an ambitious swap deal, for the Danish star involving the Uruguayan winger Pellistri, snubbed by the Portuguese giants. Sporting apparently want United to trigger the £69 million release clause for Hjulmand, said to be a close friend of Christian Eriksen and an international teammate of both him and Rasmus Højlund. Now, look, firstly, this is the Sun. So I understand it gets taken with a pinch of salt. But that isn't the biggest reason that I see this as being a dud deal. I don't know much about Hjulmand. I've done a bit of research. Looks tidy, good holding midfield player, comfortable on the ball, looks decent. Looks a decent and exciting prospect. There's no doubt. I've not read that he's a well beater, that he's a generational talent. I've not seen anything that claims this is an absolute star that the world and his dog are scrambling over to sign. But he's just gone to Sporting. He's just signed for them in the summer. That doesn't mean 6 months later he can't move on. Makes it unlikely. On the balance of probability, it's very, very low. And maybe, just maybe, what I think Man United have done is inquired about this deal. It's really interesting, though, that we're very happy to let the likes of Pellistri, the likes of Hannibal and the like go. These young players are not good enough for Man United. So I understand trying to look at innovative ways of improving the squad by moving out players that are simply not of the standard, who are easier to move on. It's actually harder to move on some of the bigger, more expensive stars, even if they're as bad as these guys, because they've got bigger wages. They're a harder prospect to move on, especially in January when it's a seller's market. And what I mean by that is, if somebody desperately wants them, it'd be easy. If somebody was desperate for Anthony today, you'd be able to get almost any price you want, but they're not. You may be able to find someone that thinks, okay, someone of Pellistri's level, at our standard, at our league, would be a good addition. Plus, he's only on £10,000 a week. We can more than afford to match, or maybe even surpass his wages and encourage him. If somebody's on 120 grand a week but awful, no club's going to pay that. The player then refuses to leave, and it becomes an impossible task. But my gut feeling, as of right now, is that I'm not too sure if Hjulmand is good enough to move the needle at Man United. Nothing I've read, nothing I've seen makes me think, gotta have him. Therefore, the idea of paying a £69 million release clause for him seems ridiculous. Genuinely feels and seems ridiculous, because there are better players available across Europe, or better players you could buy for basically £70 million than this guy. They're truly, in fact, Casemiro is returning from injury, and we've got young Mainu. From a holding midfield DM perspective, it doesn't even make sense. So just remove the fact that this story is kind of trending. A lot of people ask me questions about it. Yes, it's from the Sun. It being from the Sun doesn't even bother me. Even if this was from David Ornstein, it wouldn't make sense to me. David Ornstein probably wouldn't print it, but you get my drift, right? I just don't see it personally. But you may see this from a different point of view. Maybe you've heard different rumors. I'd love to ascertain, understand, digest your thoughts, feelings, comments on all of these transfer stories. Arsenal's pursuit of a new striker. Man, the myth, the legend, Eric Dier going to Bayern Munchen. And of course, Morten Hjulmand to Man United. Could you see this being a deal that happens this month? Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.